Julio Jones,
Ryan steps through it, throws on the run, and Jones with a catch. Phenomenal catch by Julio Jones on the sideline.
DeSean Jackson,
Down, fires downfield. It's DeSean Jackson. Missed the last 7 games, and he will take it 81 yards.
OBJ,
And Manning's going to heave one. There's a flag. Beckham, a one-handed catch. How in the world?
Oh, my goodness.
DeAndre Hopkins,
They're down at 8. Watson pass downfield, and what a catch.
Oh, God.
DeAndre Hopkins.
Michael Thomas.
And Michael Thomas comes all the way across the formation, and what a catch.
There was a time when Sundays felt different. Julio Jones had the athleticism, DeSean Jackson had the speed, OBJ had the swagger, DeAndre Hopkins had the magic, and Michael Thomas had the hands. Together, they formed the greatest era of wide receivers the NFL may have ever seen. So today we're going back to toe-tap touchdowns, jaw-dropping catches, and pure domination. These are the 2010s wide receivers that will bring back memories, starting with Julio Jones. Now, here's the thing. There's wide receivers, and then there's Julio Jones. He was 6'3", 220 pounds, had 4.3 speed, and a catch radius that made quarterbacks look better than they were. From 2014 to 2019, Julio led the entire NFL in receiving yards, and no one else was even close. In that 6-year stretch, he averaged 104 yards per game, and in 2015, he had a season for the ages. 136 catches, 1,871 yards, and 8 touchdowns. That was the third most receiving yards ever in a single season. And in 2016, he followed it up with 1,400 yards in just 14 games. But his numbers don't even tell the full story. That's because, well, when you watched him actually play the game, he could break open the game at any moment. Double teams, he bullied through them. Press coverage, he was too fast off the line. And every once in a while, he delivers something so outrageous, it didn't feel real. Like in a game against the Panthers in 2016, he had 12 catches, 300 yards, and a touchdown. Only 6 players in history have ever hit 300 yards in a game, and Julio did it with ease. Then there was the Super Bowl catch, toe tapping on the sideline, midair with a defender draped all over him. One of the most incredible plays in Super Bowl history, even if the Falcons didn't finish the job. By the time he did leave Atlanta though, Julio had racked up 7 Pro Bowls, 2 first-team All-Pro selections, 12,896 receiving yards with the Falcons, the most in franchise history, and a career total of over 13,600 yards, making him top 20 all time. But here's the thing that made Julio really special though. He didn't need all the attention. He didn't dance, he didn't trash talk, he didn't chase the spotlight. He just lined up, torched your defense, and jogged back like it was a regular day at work. In an era full of flashy receivers, Julio let his game do the talking, and it screamed greatness. He wasn't just a product of a good offense or a lucky system, he was the system. Ask any defensive coordinator from that era. If you were facing the Falcons, your biggest fear wasn't Matt Ryan. It was number 11 lined up wide, waiting to ruin your Sunday. But while Jones was a 6'3" monster, DeSean Jackson was quite the opposite. Standing only about 5'10" and 175 pounds, Jackson wasn't the biggest receiver, but that didn't matter. He was lightning in cleats, the definition of home run speed. Every time DeSean Jackson touched the ball, you held your breath, because in a split second, he could flip the entire game. One cut, one burst, one missed tackle, and he was gone.
Hurts on first down, fires downfield. It's DeSean Jackson back in the lineup. Missed the last 7 games, and he will take it 81 yards. A somersault into the end zone.
And that's the thing too, in the 2010s, no one was better at taking the top off of defenses quite like DeSean Jackson. He led the NFL in yards per catch 4 times in his career, and from 2010 to 2019, he was the king of the deep ball. He had 26 career touchdowns of 60 yards or more, the most in NFL history. And everybody remembers the Monday Night Football game, 2010, Eagles vs. Giants. Game is tied, final seconds, the Giants punt it away, and DeSean muffs it. But then
Waits. And it's a line drive kick. Jackson bobbles it and now has to try and recover. DeSean Jackson gets a block. Are you kidding? DeSean Jackson still not in and now in for the touchdown, no flags.
in his prime, he put up multiple 1,000-yard seasons with different quarterbacks in different systems. 1,056 yards in 2013 with the Eagles, 1,169 yards in 2014 with the Washington Redskins, 1,005 yards in 2016 in DC again, and even in 2019 at the age of 32, he opened the season with 2 deep touchdowns in his first game back with Philly. When you look back at the 2010s, he was one of the most electric players in the league. A walking, talking highlight reel with turbojets in his shoes. Julio Jones had the athleticism, DeSean Jackson had the speed, OBJ had the swagger.
And Manning's going to heave one. There's a flag. Beckham, one-handed catch. How in the world?
Oh my goodness. That may be the greatest catch I've ever seen in my life.
Every generation has a player that shakes up the entire league. In the 2010s, that player was Odell Beckham Jr. But while most remember OBJ for his one-handed catch, Odell was special before and after that moment. Surprisingly enough too, he didn't start until week 5 of his rookie season and still went crazy. In his first 3 seasons, he put up 1,305 yards and 12 touchdowns, 1,450 yards and 13 touchdowns, then 1,367 yards and 10 touchdowns. That's over 4,000 yards and 35 touchdowns faster than anyone in NFL history at the time. And he did it all with crazy catches, blazing speed, and fearless plays across the middle. Defenses had to double him, safeties had to shade his way, and it still didn't matter. But that's the cool part too. OBJ wasn't just a star on the field, the dude was everywhere. Red carpets, Drake's house, dancing on boats before playoff games, from custom cleats to viral dance moves, he was bigger than football, and that came with chaos. Sometimes the fire that made him electric burned just a little too hot. Like that time he headbutted a kicking net, then hugged it the next week after scoring. Or my favorite, the fight with Josh Norman where they turned a football game into a personal grudge match, complete with late hits, helmet swings, and chaos after every whistle. He'd throw punches on the field and parties off of it. OBJ was an absolute roller coaster. You never knew if you were going to get an insane touchdown or an emotional meltdown, but either way, it was entertaining. Later in his career, injuries did begin to pile up, and the trade to Cleveland looked good on paper, but never truly clicked. Still, he did make it to the Super Bowl with the Rams in 2021 and scored a touchdown before tearing his ACL on the biggest stage. Well, kind of actually. Turns out that, Odell Beckham didn't even have an ACL in that game. Yes, Odell Beckham Jr. had been playing without an ACL the entire season. And you're probably asking, how is that even possible? Well, no one really even knows. Doctors just say that he let the adrenaline carry him through every single play. And the wildest part too was that he knew. OBJ had known his ACL was gone from the jump, but he didn't care. He bet on himself anyway, played through it anyway, put his body on the line for a shot at glory, and he got his Super Bowl ring. And despite many injuries, OBJ is still playing the game of football. That is, if anyone does decide to sign him, because he is currently a free agent at the time of this video. But while OBJ was a loud player, DeAndre Hopkins didn't need to yell. He didn't flex after every catch or demand the spotlight because his game spoke louder than words ever could.
6 seconds. Murray heaves it downfield. It is caught.
Hopkins was the silent assassin of the 2010s, quiet, calculated, and absolutely unstoppable. He came into the league in 2013 with the Houston Texans and didn't waste a second. Even as a rookie, you could see it. The footwork, the hands, the control. He wasn't the fastest guy on the field, but he always got open. And when the ball was in the air, it was already his. But here's what makes his story so wild. For the first half of his career, he had no elite quarterback. From 2013 to 2016, Hopkins caught passes from Matt Schaub, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Case Keenum, Ryan Mallett, Brian Hoyer, Tom Savage, Brock Osweiler, and TJ Yates. That's 8 different quarterbacks in 4 years, and he still dominated. In 2015, he had 11 receptions, 1,521 yards, and 11 touchdowns with 4 quarterbacks. He didn't complain, he didn't make excuses, he just lined up, ran crisp routes, and destroyed defenses. And once Deshaun Watson arrived in 2017, that's when Hopkins leveled up from star to superstar. From 2017 to 2019, he averaged over 105 catches, 1,300 plus yards, and 10 touchdowns a year. He was named first team All-Pro 3 times and made the Pro Bowl 5 years in a row. And every year you could count on 2 things. He'd be at the top of the league in stats, and he'd make a ridiculous how did he catch that play at least once a game. Fast forward to 2020, Cardinals vs. Bills. Final seconds, Kyler Murray rolls out and launches a 50-yard Hail Mary. 3 defenders are in perfect position, but somehow Hopkins goes up and rips it away. It was one of the greatest catches of the decade, and he made it look routine. And, well, that was the thing about Hopkins. He wasn't flashy or loud, but the dude was automatic. In 2018, he had 115 catches and 0 drops. DeAndre Hopkins was the kind of player who could beat you with precision, power, and patience. And yes, while he currently is on the Ravens, he isn't the same player he used to be, but when you talk about 2010's wideouts, he has to be on the list. Because pound for pound, game for game, nobody was more reliable than D-Hop. He just somehow found ways to get open, much like Michael Thomas could. Despite not being the fastest or the flashiest, if you threw him the ball, he was going to catch it. Simple as that. Thomas entered the league in 2016 and immediately clicked with Drew Brees like they'd been playing for years. In his rookie season, he put up 92 catches, 1,137 yards, and 9 touchdowns, and that was just the warm-up, because every year after that, he got even better. More targets, more yards, more catches, more dominance. From 2017 to 2019, he led the NFL in total receptions. He made 3 straight Pro Bowls, earned 2 first-team All-Pro honors, and became the #1 weapon in the Saints offense. Then came 2019. The year that Michael Thomas broke football. 149 catches, the most in a single season in NFL history, which accounted for 1,725 yards and 9 touchdowns. The dude caught everything. Short routes, deep ends, contested grabs, it didn't matter. They called him Can't Guard Mike for a reason. He didn't need big plays either. He would just drain your defense 10 yards at a time, first down, first down, first down. He was a possession machine, reliable, physical, and impossible to throw off his rhythm. But just as fast as he rose, everything crashed. In 2020, he dealt with a nagging ankle injury that just wouldn't go away. He missed most of the season, then more injuries in 2021, then a setback in 2022. From 2020 to 2023, he played in only 20 games. Even off the field, things got messy too. Frustration with the team, trade rumors, social media jabs, the perfect Saints-Breeze connection was gone, and so was the Can't Guard Mike magic. Just like OBJ, Thomas is currently a free agent looking for a new team. And while no one wants these guys now, there definitely was a time when every team in the league would have done anything to have them. They were the highlight, the headline, and the reason we watched football every week. Because these were the wide receivers that made Sunday special. The ones that bring back memories we'll never be able to forget.